Now that Poppy Playtime Chapter 3 is over, there are so many questions. Like, what happened to Kissy Missy after the chapter? Where's Boxy Boo? What does the prototype look like? Well, I'm here to answer all those questions.
So I'm going to show you guys the ending to Chapter 3, so you guys can know what I'm talking about.
Soon as we reach the bottom, we'll send the lift back up. Just hold tight, okay? After you! Alright, once we hit the ground, we need to be cautious. There's something... What's she doing? This is... No! No! We're coming! Just hold on! Come on, go faster! Kissy!
So yeah, we can hear Kissy Missy being, and I heavily quote, attacked. But something like this does not add up whatsoever. Some people believe that Kissy Missy was attacked, and that does not add up at all, because Kissy Missy was the only one we heard. Now, to prove to you guys that this goofy theory is not real, I will use 3 things to prove that my theory that she was not attacked. Number 1 would be Poppy's reaction. Number 2 would be Kissy Missy's screams. Number 3 would be the remaining hostiles. Now, I'm going to replay the clip, and I want you guys to look very, very closely to Poppy's reaction.
What's she doing? This is... No! We're coming! Just hold on! Come on, go faster! Kissy!
Did you guys catch it? Well, if you didn't, Poppy was quick to rush to Kissy's aid, which really is out of the ordinary for Poppy. Let me explain. I'm not saying that Poppy is a traitor, and I'm not saying that she's going to leave you for dead if you're caught. I'm saying that she really isn't the one to charge if there's a hostile in the area.
Catnap is coming. He's the final obstacle the prototype has placed against us. We can't stay here. Keep yourself safe. Ollie will call you.
Poppy told the player to go off without hesitation. Obviously, she knew that the player could defend themselves. And Kissy Missy really can defend herself, especially with the remaining hostiles that are still in the playcare. I will get to that in a bit, but right now, we are focusing on how she reacted. Poppy reacted as if she knew this was happening, as if she saw this coming, as if she knew she had control over the situation. But if there's a hostile in the area, what control could she have? Well, what if there was never a hostile in the area? And this is where I get to number 2, Kissy Missy's screams. I'm going to replay this audio, but I want you guys to only listen to Kissy Missy this time.
What's she doing? This is... No! We're coming! Just hold on! Come on, go faster! Kissy!
Now, we can hear it's only her up there. And, well, if she's being attacked, why is it just her we hear? Now, I want to point one thing out that everyone in the Poppy Playtime fanbase should know, and that is not a single toy in all of Poppy Playtime is silent. Miss Delight makes all these laughing and growling noises. Dog Day makes these coughing, laughing, grunting noises. Even the mini critters make these little giggling and growling and cries of pain that amuse me. Even Catnap talks. Now, before I get to number 3, I want to point one more thing out, and that's Kissy Missy is actually trying to signal the player and Poppy that she's in danger. Listen closely.
What's she doing? This is... No! No! We're coming! Just hold on! Come on, go faster!
Kissy was screaming as loud as she could, so the player and Poppy could hear her. It's like that both Poppy and Kissy knew that this moment was coming, and that they knew how to fix it. And it explains why Poppy tells Kissy to hold on, and it explains why Kissy is slamming around as if she's trying to fight something, not physically, but internally. And this is where I get to number 3, the remaining hostiles in the area. Thankfully, that the prototype killed the giant cat with rabies and that farts from its mouth, and that we as the teacher killed the crazy Miss Frizzle ripoff that looks like the frog I found in my backyard earlier. Like, woman, go get some breath mints. My point being, there is no more hostiles in the area, but a few. Now, there truly is only 2 or more suspects in the situation, but just for theory's sake, I will add 2 more, and then for fun's sake, I will add 1 more. So suspect number 1 will be Dog Day. Suspect number 2 will be the mini critters. Suspect number 3 will be Huggy Wuggy. Suspect number 4 will be Boxy Boo. And just for fun, suspect number 5 will be a Miss Delight clone. Now, I'm sure one will ask, and I say this in all honesty without trying to be rude, I do not consider Daisy canon, and this is for 2 reasons. 1, obviously she was never seen in the Hour of Joy, unlike Boxy Boo. And 2, I will get to in the next part of this theory. First things first with Dog Day. Now, from what we know, Dog Day is still alive, because we never seen him die, nor did we kill him. Another thing to point out is that Dog Day is lacking both legs and intelligence. Because most of his insides are now eaten and being controlled by the mini critters, he most likely lost all his intelligence. And I know I'm calling him Dog Day, but I'm mostly referring to the controlled Dog Day by the mini critters. Dog Day's dead. Accept it. Should Dog Day have, however, survived and escaped the playhouse? I don't think this is possible. But if he did, could he have been the one to attack Kissy Missy? And to this, I have to say no. The reason I say this is because, like I said earlier, Kissy Missy was the only one we heard when she was being quote-unquote attacked. And if it was Dog Day quote-unquote attacking her, this is what it would have sounded like. So yeah, we can roll Dog Day out on this one. Which now brings me to number 2, the mini critters. Okay, yes, the mini critters can get around a lot of places, in all honesty. However, I do believe that they only have access to that inside the playhouse. Because if they could get anywhere they want in play care, why do we only see them inside the playhouse? And even so, if they were the ones to attack Kissy Missy, and I quote attack, then she wouldn't have a problem whatsoever. She literally could have stopped, kick, squeeze, crush, eat, do anything. They couldn't do anything to her. So I highly doubt it was the mini critters that killed or quote unquote killed and quote unquote attacked her. Anyways, no, it most likely was not them. Now that cancels out the mini critters. Now, his name is Huggy, Huggy Wuggy. When he hugs you, he'll never stop. Your friend Huggy, Huggy Wuggy. He'll hug you until you pop. Okay, let's get something straight. There is no way Huggy Wuggy survived that fall. Unless if there was just some sort of magical miracle that happened, he's a goner. There is nothing could have survived that fall. Nothing. And that fur that we saw in Chapter 2, that most likely was just the prototype dragging Huggy Wuggy's body through this little ventilation system. And or it could have been Catnap combining Huggy with the shrine, which we do see in Chapter 3. If that isn't the real Huggy Wuggy, then it most likely was just a miniature toy Huggy Wuggy, like we saw of that miniature toy Bunzo that died because of the gas in Chapter 3. But either way, Huggy Wuggy has to be gone. Hopefully, at least. And you know, even if Huggy Wuggy did attack Kissy Missy, it would have sounded something like this. And like I said, Huggy Wuggy's most likely dead, and we didn't hear him when Kissy Missy was quote-unquote attacked. So, scratch Huggy. So we shall now move on to Boxy Boo. Now, I get that many people say that Boxy Boo is in Chapter 3 and he attacked Kissy Missy and he's protecting the prototype. But at the same time, I have to disagree because Poppy specifically said that Catnap was the last thing that the prototype was gonna throw at us. There's something I want to point out real quick. So, the only monster that Poppy has ever interacted with is Mommy Longlegs. We have never seen her with Catnap nor Huggy Wuggy, but yet she's aware that the prototype killed Catnap. Meanwhile, the player killed Huggy. But still, we've never seen her with either of them, and yet she's aware that they were working for the prototype. And yet, even though Poppy is aware that, in a way, Miss Delight was working for the prototype, and that Boxy Boo was working for the prototype, she even saw Boxy Boo in the Hour of Joy tape. Of course, she'd watch it before giving it to the player. But yet, she doesn't mention Boxy Boo whatsoever. So, Boxy Boo probably isn't around. So, I'm going to scratch him out. But, just for fun, I'm going to show you guys what it would have sounded like if he did attack Kissy Missy.
What's she doing?
that leaves us with a fifth and final suspect, a Mr. Light clone.
While yes, the only Mr. Light we ever did see was the one in the school, keep in mind, there were hundreds of them in the Hour of Joy. So who's to say that there's not one Mr. Light clone roaming around in the school and or Playcare?
And this image that I show you guys right now was an out of bounds scene. And there was a completely normal living model of Mr. Light when she wasn't nightmarish. And the normal model is most likely a bunch of normal Mr. Light models cramped into one. Because in the Hour of Joy, they're seen in the same area that we first spot Mr. Light in the school. So I just want to throw that out there. But still, who's to say that there's not a clone of Mr. Light running around? And we do see about Mr. Light 3 times, and she goes to places we couldn't get to due to the gates. And I think that those were actually 2 more Mr. Light clones. Well, maybe not. I don't know. But still, most likely there's at least 1 more Mr. Light clone out there, whether she's normal or nightmarish. If there was a Mr. Light clone that did attack, quote-unquote, attack Kissy Missy, whether if it was a nightmare one with her weapon or a normal human-looking one, even if they did attack her, they wouldn't stand a chance. Keep in mind that Kissy Missy was able to body slam the player at ease. Not to mention, she actually was about to kill them. And judging because she didn't show her teeth, she most likely was attempting to strangle them. And if we look at Mr. Light, she is the same size as a regular human. And she really wouldn't have stand a chance against Kissy Missy. Even if Mr. Light can crush a whole generator, Kissy Missy still has the strength on her side. And Mr. Light unarmed is nothing against Kissy Missy. But what if it was a Mr. Light clone that attacked her and possibly won? I quote that, of course. It would have sounded like this, something along these lines.
No! Coming! Just hold on! Come on, go faster!
So yeah, even if there is any more Mr. Light clones, most likely was not one of them. So, off she goes. So, if I just prove that nobody attacked Kissy Missy, then what happened to her? Why was she screaming for help? Well, there's something very interesting that Dog Day tells us.
We tried to fight it. The prototype's control. I am the last of the smiling critters.
You heard it right. The prototype has control over the toys. Now I'm gonna slap you guys with the truth. And I'm gonna slap y'all so hard Will Smith won't have nothing on me. This is why Kissy Missy ran away from us so quickly in Chapter 2. She didn't run away to save herself. She ran away to protect us. She knew that eventually the prototype will gain control over her. And I believe this is why she's okay with being around us in Chapter 3. Because Poppy is there. Poppy knows how to stop the prototype's control. And that is why she acted like she forgot something when she realized that Kissy was screaming for help. Poppy knew she could keep Kissy Missy from being controlled by the prototype. So, with all this evidence that I have proven to you guys, I hope that we can peacefully agree and disagree that Kissy Missy was not attacked, but most likely corrupted by the prototype.
My next and final theory is, where's Boxy Boo and what does the prototype look like? Now, I put these two together because I think the prototype might just be Boxy Boo? Let me explain. Okay, so first things first. We never see Boxy Boo or the Prototype in the same area. So, let me point this out. So we all know that in the Hour of Joy, we see all of the monsters, but the Prototype. Now, we even see Miss Delight. Who do we see instead of the Prototype? We see Boxy Boo. And in the whole game, who do we see? The Prototype. But who do we not see? Boxy Boo. Now, I have a few more things to point out to prove my point. But I'm sure that many people are going to say, oh, but the Prototype's the one who established the whole Hour of Joy thing. And oh, the Prototype's aggressive. He studies people. He was aggressive. Blah, blah, blah. Well, that technically does fit Boxy Boo. Look at this real quick. Now, people say that the Prototype studies people, which I do believe, but so does Boxy Boo. I believe this because look at where he appears in the trailer for Project Playtime. He appears in plain sight, hidden in his box form. And technically, he did study the humans because he hid in the place where they would go to for safety, the train. He went to the train, and once he knew that the human was trapped and couldn't protect himself, that's when he killed the human in the trailer. Now, I get it's a trailer, but because Boxy Boo is technically a playable character in Project Playtime, I'm only using the trailer as his canon actions, but Boxy Boo knew that the human would want to hide in the train, so that's where Boxy hid. And he used his Jack-in-the-Box form to his advantage to hide in plain sight, and he trapped the human in the train. Once the human was with Boxy, he could not escape, and the Prototype mentions that he does study humans.
You thank me? Absolutely. I learn something new about you every day.
I'm sure that people are going to point out the fact that Boxy Boo can't speak, and that if he is the Prototype, then if it explains why Boxy, or why the Prototype mimics voices, because he was originally silent. Who was originally silent? Boxy. Okay, so check this out. What kind of toy is Boxy Boo? A Jack-in-the-Box. And I think that he was actually meant to be a test. Let me explain.
Oh.
As we all know, kids are horrified of Jack-in-the-Boxes, and that's what Boxy Boo is. Now, the reason I think he was a test is because he wasn't something a child would love, like two incest pink and blue monkeys. Yes, it says that they're monkeys. I never knew they were gangsters. I apologize, my dark humor kicked in. Motherly spider creature. Bunny with symbols. Caterpillar mixed with a pug. Four children from that incest monkey couple. And a whole bunch of animals that smile at you, a giant cat, a teacher who wishes they were Miss Frizzle, as good as Miss Frizzle, and a flower lady, a caterpillar, and Brachiosaurus, and cat with mixed with a bee, a frog mixed with a cat, a little robot, to the list goes on. No, it doesn't. What I'm trying to say here is, unlike those things that kids would want to be around, Boxy Boo is a Jack in the Box, and not that many kids like to be around Jack in the Boxes, and that's why I think he was meant to be a test. Something else I need to point out is the fact that Boxy Boo does not have a counterpart, unlike the other toys. Well, he doesn't have a counterpart or a close partner. Let me explain. So, Huggy Wuggy has Kissy Missy and the Wacka Wuggies as a counterpart. Mommy Longlegs has Daddy Longlegs and Baby Longlegs as counterparts. The Smiling Critters have, well, themselves as counterparts. Also the Mini Critters.
PJ Pugapillar has Bunzo as a close partner. And then other characters who weren't seen, nor do I think is real, like Brawn and Boogiebot, those two most likely had themselves as close partners. And then Candy Cat and Cat Bee, they were most likely partners. But what am I trying to say here? What I'm trying to say is that unlike these characters, Boxy Boo never had a counterpart, nor did he have a close partner. Boxy Boo has no one, no counterparts, no pals, nothing. He's a lonely wolf, making him a prototype. And the fact that he is never seen in public with his own particular area to be in, it kind of further pushes my point that he is the prototype. Something else I'd like to point out is that no one knows his name. Nobody mentions him. Sure, he's seen on all over the walls, but no one actually mentions him, not even Poppy. And considering that she didn't mention anyone else after mentioning Catnap as the prototype's loyalist, kind of proves that there's no one else and kind of pushes the possibility that he is the prototype. But again, nobody knows his name. There's not even a cutout of Boxy Boo. He doesn't even have a made-up voice, which Huggy Wuggy has. Something I know people are going to use against me is the shrine. Now, I'm sure that we can all agree that because Catnap isn't the best at artwork and sculpting, he most likely just used the toy parts to try and make it look like the prototype, but I doubt, and maybe the prototype is this colorful, but because there's only one Dog Day, I'm sure that we can all agree that the prototype's not going to have Dog Day for her neck, and because my Longlegs' death was quite recent, then he certainly won't have her on his arm. But look at the prototype's front part. This is what I'm going to be talking about the most. Let me explain. This shrine has a very, very strong resemblance to Boxy Boo from head to toe, literally. The only difference is the arms. But, of course, the legs are made up of a bunch of toys, but like I said, this really can't be 100% accurate since it's made up of a bunch of random toys. But look at the head. I'm not talking about the human. I'll get to the human in a bit. But look at the head. It does have a very, very strong resemblance to Boxy Boo. Now, look in the center. The center can be somewhat of a box shape depending on how you look at it. And like I said, this isn't accurate, so it most likely does look different on the real thing. But still, it does kind of look like Boxy's box. And there's something else I want to point out to you guys. Do you see it? Well, look at this part that I just circled. I get that it's meant to be a mask, but it has a very, very close resemblance to Boxy's crank. And I do believe that this could be Boxy's crank due to it being the left side of the body.
I told you I'd get to the human, so now I will get to the unfortunate soul who is in Dog Day's mouth. Now, I get that this could meant to be the head, but what if it isn't? So, I want to tell you guys something. So, in religion, people tend to mark the most important part of their stories. Take me as example. I am a Christian, and we mark the day Jesus was crucified on his cross, which is the day when his blood was spilled to clean off our sins. Now, where I'm going with this is everyone keeps saying that the prototype is Catnap's god, which I believe. Now, I want you guys to look at the pose that the prototype's shrine is in, and I want you to take a few minutes to think about this, or a few seconds. Did you catch it? Well, it has a very, very close resemblance to when Boxy Boo was eating the employee in the Hour of Joy. Now, I get it's not completely accurate, but like I said, this isn't accurate. And if my whole religion thing is right, then it really isn't far-fetched, because this was the moment the Hour of Joy started. And if Catnap is symbolizing the moment when Boxy Boo started this, when he made everyone kill the employees, this would be a very important part that Catnap would want to symbolize. Let's get something straight. We all know that Boxy Boo is not stupid. Keep in mind when I pointed out that he was smart enough to hide in the train in plain sight because he knew that the employees would hide in safety in the train. And if he is smart enough to know this, then he technically could be smart enough to start and plan the Hour of Joy. And considering that we see him and not the prototype, then this isn't far-fetched at all. Now, I'm going to point out these two things, and this might just convince you to at least slightly agree with me that Boxy Boo might just be the prototype. Now, look closely and look at what they do that is similar. Did you see it? Well, if you didn't, the prototype manages to kill Catnap without looking at him with his own eyes. And Boxy Boo manages to know that the player, or whatever the guy is in the train without using his own eyes. Not to mention he knows that the doors are closed. Now, what I'm trying to say is they're both capable of doing things without looking. Now, something to point out here is the prototype shrine is massive. So big, in fact, that Catnap has to stand up just to be its same size. Now, what I'm trying to say is the prototype has to be massive. And where I'm going with this is there is no way the prototype managed to fit inside that vent when it lifted Catnap up. So it had to have used its large arm. Now, stretching out Boxy Boo's arm is something that he does. And if he is the prototype, then this really does explain how he managed to stretch his arm out through that whole entire event. So with all this evidence at hand, can we agree that Kissy Missy was not attacked but controlled and that Boxy Boo is the prototype? Well, even if I do believe it, and even if I have given lots of evidence to prove this, I know that many people are going to disagree with me, and only the devs can confirm this. While I do hope this is true, I don't know if it will be. But anyways, guys, stay safe. God bless y'all. I love y'all. Have a good one.